It's so interesting how often in the Book of Mormon you get these periods of intense conflict, and then they're followed by these moments of like profound peace.
Yeah.
Like you see this so clearly in Alma 30, where, after all this time of war and upheaval,
right,
they enter this period of just remarkable stability.
Yes. And it's not just like a superficial piece, is it?
No.
The text really emphasizes in Alma 30.1-5, the people are keeping the commandments of God, and as a result, they're prospering. They're prospering exceedingly, and they're experiencing this great state of peace.
Yeah.
It's like their devotion wasn't just, outward rituals. It was deeply intertwined with their well-being.
And I love that line in verse 7 where it says there was no law against any man's belief.
Right.
I mean, even today, that kind of religious freedom, that's a complex issue.
Absolutely. That statement highlights a society where individual choice within a religious framework was paramount,
Yeah.
And it really sets the stage for this fascinating clash of ideologies.
Okay.
Because this freedom to believe is about to be challenged.
It is, and that's where Korihor enters the picture.
Yes.
Verse 6 introduces him and kind of gives him this unsettling title of Antichrist.
Yeah.
He seems to really delight in disrupting this peace that they've found.
He does.
By just directly challenging their core beliefs.
He embodies this radical skepticism that's both intriguing and unsettling.
Totally.
He doesn't just, question things, he vehemently denies.
Yeah.
And so in Alma 30.1315, he calls the idea of a coming Christ a foolish and a vain hope. He's arguing that no man can know of anything which is to come.
Right.
So it's a direct assault on the very foundation of their faith.
He's not content with just theological debate.
No, he's not.
He goes after the religious leaders themselves.
He does.
In Alma 30.23 and 27, he accuses the priests of using foolish traditions to exploit people.
Yeah.
He's calling their teachings the effect of a frenzied mind. You can almost feel the outrage from the community.
Oh, absolutely.
How dare he say that?
It's a brilliant,
right,
if manipulative tactic.
Yeah.
By discrediting the source of their beliefs, he aims to dismantle the entire belief system.
Right.
It's a tactic that's sadly not unfamiliar even today.
No, it's not.
I see it all the time.
So how do the authorities respond to this kind of provocation?
Well,
in Alma 30.29, we see that the high priest Gedona and the chief judge, they refuse to engage with Korihor's blasphemy.
Yeah.
They would not make any reply to his word.
That's right.
I mean, that's strategic silence?
It's probably...
Or are they just genuinely shocked by his audacity?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
Remember, they've just emerged from this time of conflict.
Right.
And they've achieved this, hard-won peace.
Yeah.
And they recognize the danger of allowing Korihor's words to incite further division.
Okay.
But this is not the end of it.
Right.
Korihor is then brought before another high priest, Alma.
Okay.
He continues his tirade, even claiming that Alma and his brethren are simply in it for personal gain.
Oh, wow.
As stated in Alma 30.31.
And that's where things get really interesting.
They do.
Because now the accusation is personal.
It is.
Alma, in this really powerful rebuttal, lists all of his sacrifices and makes it clear that he has not gotten rich off of his service.
Yeah.
He says in Alma 30.32-34, I have given up all my precious things, that even all my flocks and my herds have I given to the poor.
It's a striking moment because Alma models a response rooted in lived experience. He's not just defending himself.
Right.
He's bearing witness to the transformative power of his beliefs.
Yeah.
He's like, I've lived this.
And then he flips the script.
He does.
Instead of getting bogged down in this war of words, Alma challenges Korihor to provide evidence for his claim.
Right.
We see this in Alma 30.45, where Alma points to his own reliance on personal experiences, the testimonies of others, and even the natural world as evidence for God's existence.
It's a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
Alma recognizes that true faith isn't blind.
Right.
It's grounded in something much bigger than ourselves.
Right.
He's essentially saying, look around.
Yeah.
The evidence is everywhere.
If you're willing to see it.
If you're willing to see it.
But Korihor doubles down.
He does.
He's so insistent on tangible proof that he demands a sign.
A sign?
He wants a visible, undeniable manifestation of God's power.
Wow.
And unfortunately for him, that's when things take a very dramatic turn.
Oh, boy.
But we'll delve into that more the next part.
Yeah. Korihor's demand for a sign, his unwavering insistence on like visible proof.
Right.
It reveals this profound misunderstanding of the nature of faith.
Yeah.
In demanding a sign, he places himself above the very God he denies.
Right.
He's seeking to dictate the terms of belief.
It's almost as if he's saying, prove yourself to me.
Exactly.
And then maybe I'll consider believing.
Precisely. And what's fascinating here is how this demand for a sign, it backfires so spectacularly.
Yeah.
Remember, Korihor built his entire argument on reason and logic.
Right.
And now, ironically, he receives a sign that defies rational explanation.
Right.
In Alma 30.49, grieved by Korihor's hard-heartedness and his potential to mislead others, Alma pronounces a curse of dumbness upon him.
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine that this guy who's been so vocal, so insistent, is suddenly struck dumb? And
the text tells us in Alma 30.50 that the curse takes immediate effect.
Immediate effect?
Korihor, the man who prided himself on his eloquence, the man who built his whole platform on the power of his words, is suddenly silenced.
He can no longer speak.
Right.
Imagine the shock that must have rippled through the crowd.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the sudden silence is more than just a physical affliction.
Yeah.
It's a symbolic silencing of Korihor's dissenting voice.
Right.
It's as if the very power he denied has reached down and silenced him.
The chief judge, seizing this opportunity, asks Korihor directly. In Alma 30.51, art thou convinced of the power of God?
Wow.
It's a powerful moment of confrontation.
It is.
Korihor, stripped of his ability to speak, is forced to confront his own deeply held beliefs.
He is. And his response, written down in Alma 30.52, is incredibly revealing.
Okay.
He admits, I know that nothing save it were the power of God could bring this upon me. Yea, and I always knew that there was a God.
It's a startling confession.
It
seems Korihor wasn't a true non-believer after all.
Right.
So if he knew there was a God all along, why this elaborate charade of denial?
Right. Why go to such lengths to discredit the faith of others?
Why?
Well, his explanation in Alma 30.53 offers a glimpse into the psychology of self-deception.
Okay.
He claims that he was deceived by the devil disguised as an angel.
Oh, wow.
This angel told him to preach against God.
Okay.
And fed him the arguments that he used to sway others.
Right.
It raises questions about the nature of deception and the seductive power of believing what we want to believe.
That's so true.
We can be so easily misled when we allow our desires to cloud our judgment.
He even admits that he chose to believe these arguments because they appealed to the carnal mind.
Right, to the carnal mind.
It's as if he allowed his own desires and ambitions to cloud his judgment.
The carnal mind, as described here, refers to a state of being focused on, worldly desires and physical gratification rather than spiritual pursuits.
Okay.
It suggests that Korihor was more interested in satisfying his own ego and desires than seeking truth.
It's a cautionary tale, isn't it?
It is a cautionary tale.
About the danger of prioritizing our own limited perspectives over a higher truth.
Absolutely. And the story takes another turn here.
Okay.
Korihor, realizing the gravity of his situation, makes a desperate plea to Alma in Alma 30.54.
Okay.
He begs him to pray for him.
Right.
To have the curse lifted.
And Alma's response is interesting.
It is.
He doesn't simply refuse. He says in Alma 30.55, if this curse should be taken from thee, thou wouldst again lead away the hearts of this people, therefore it shall be unto thee, even as the Lord will.
It's a profound moment.
Yeah.
Alma recognizes that lifting the curse might allow Korihor to continue spreading his harmful teachings.
Right.
So he wisely leaves the final judgment in God's hands.
So what happens next? Does the curse remain?
Sadly, yes. The curse was not lifted.
Right.
Korihor is cast out, forced to beg for food, as stated in Alma 30.56.
Yeah.
He becomes a living testament to the consequences of his actions.
Oh.
His story is shared throughout the land as a warning to others who might be tempted to follow his path.
It's a stark contrast to the peace and unity described at the beginning of Alma 30.
It is.
Korihor's descent disrupts that harmony.
Yes.
And ultimately brings about his own downfall.
His ultimate fate, described in Alma 30.59 and 60, is truly tragic.
Yeah, what happens?
While begging among a group that had already separated from the Nephites, he was trampled to death.
It's a heartbreaking end.
Ew.
He dies alone, rejected, even by those he tried to lead astray.
Yeah.
His death becomes this grim reminder of the destructive path he chose. It's a somber ending to Korihor's story,
It is.
It almost feels like a Greek tragedy where his pride and arrogance just lead to his ultimate downfall.
Yes, there are definite parallels to classic tragedies. You know,
Yeah.
Korihor's insistent demand for tangible proof, his rejection of faith without seeing God, ultimately brought about the very proof he demanded,
Yeah,
but at a terrible cost.
right.
His story serves as this powerful reminder that true faith often requires us to step outside the bounds of logic and embrace this deeper understanding that transcends the purely physical world.
However, isn't there a balance there? Because Alma himself pointed to evidence in the natural world, personal experiences, the testimonies of others when defending his own beliefs.
Absolutely. Alma shows us that genuine faith isn't about ignoring reason or evidence.
What?
True faith is rooted in this deep understanding that there are truths that go beyond our immediate comprehension.
Right.
It's about recognizing a higher power, a divine order that we may not always fully grasp.
Okay.
Think about the beauty and complexity of the natural world, the inexplicable moments of love and connection we experience, the deep-seated sense of morality that guides us.
Right.
These are all hints, echoes of a reality that extends beyond our limited senses.
So how do we navigate the complexities of belief in a world where doubt and skepticism are so prevalent? What lessons can we take from Korihor's story to guide us in our own spiritual journeys?
Korihor's fate serves as this potent warning against the pitfalls of pride and arrogance.
All right.
His unwavering belief in his own intellect, his rejection of anything beyond his understanding ultimately led to his destruction.
Right.
His story is a call for humility, a reminder that we don't have all the answers, that there are mysteries we may never fully unravel.
It sounds like Korihor's story encourages us to approach our faith with both an open heart and a discerning mind.
Absolutely.
To seek truth while acknowledging that our human understanding is always limited.
That's beautifully put.
Thank you.
It's about balancing our intellect with a willingness to surrender to something larger than ourselves. It's about cultivating a sense of wonder and awe in the face of the unknown.
Right.
When we allow ourselves to be open to the possibility of a higher power, when we approach our faith with humility and a sincere desire to learn, we open ourselves to a level of understanding and peace that transcends the limitations of logic and reason alone.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of faith doubt and the consequences of challenging established religious authority.
It's been a pleasure.
The story of Korihor, as we've seen, is so complex.
It is.
And multi-layered.
Yes.
It challenges us to examine our own beliefs, confront our doubts, and ultimately seek a deeper understanding of the spiritual forces that shape our lives.
I agree.
We hope this discussion has been insightful for you, and we invite you to subscribe to the podcast for more discussions like this. Thanks for stopping by.